So new to partnership premium. What is it? It's a one-off payment for new partners joining a partnership for the first time. So in exchange, participants and successful applicants must be ready to commit to at least 5 years of partnership, doing a minimum of 2 clinical sessions per week in the 5-year period. So it's aimed at boosting the GP partnership model by increasing the number of new partners, stabilising the partnership model, and helping to increase clinicians' participation levels in primary care. It was actually introduced last year from April 2020, but there's been a delayed commencement due to COVID and the current situation. So the application process only opened from the 1st of July 2020, but it does apply to anyone who met the criteria on or after the 1st of April 2020. So the payment is a maximum of £20,000 plus a further 20% to cover on top costs. So a maximum payment available £24,000 for full-time equivalent applicants. So a full-time equivalent in this particular scenario is based on 9 clinical sessions of 4 hours and 10 minutes per session, so a total of 37.5 hours per week. Part-time applicants can still apply, and the payment is just paid on a pro rata basis, depending on the number of sessions they do. There's an annual reconciliation process. So the applicant agrees to undertake an annual reconciliation process to ensure they have received the right amounts and to update any personal details, etc. There is a clawback or additional payment if the applicant's hours or sessions change partway through each year. And this is done on an annual basis. So who can apply? You need to be a healthcare professional registered with a respective professional body delivering care to patients through a GMS, PMS or APMS contract provider. You need to hold an equity profit share in a partnership on or after the 1st of April 2020. You need to have signed a copy of the partnership agreement on or after the 1st of April 2020. So who's it open to? It's open to GP doctors, nurses, pharmacists, pharmacy techs, physiotherapists, paramedics, midwives, podiatrists, OTs, mental health practitioners, and also physio and associates, but it's not currently open to practice managers. NHS England have said for a while now they will look into opening it up for practice managers, but at the moment there's no further guidance on this. Who doesn't it apply to? You can't have been a partner in England before, and participants cannot be employed by the partnership in which they're making the application with. The scheme initially is expected to run for 2 years, so to the 31st of March 2022. In terms of the payment process for successful applicants, the allowable funding will be paid through the practice who holds the contract, and then they would administer the transfer out to the new partner. So clawbacks. So if a new partner ceases to be a partner in a practice within 5 years of the date they joined their first partnership and applied for the extra funding, there's a clawback process, depending on how many years they've been a partner. There's an exemption if they leave one partnership but join another as a partner. So the clawback applies if they cease to be a partner entirely in general practice. So for example, if a partner left as GP altogether prior to the 5th year anniversary, there'd be a 20% clawback. If they cease to be a partner altogether prior to completing their first year, there's a 100% clawback of all of the funding. So the clawbacks are made on a reducing scale of 20%, depending on how close they leave to the 5th year anniversary of being a partner. The payment is subject to tax and national insurance on the individual who receives the money, but it's not subject to pension deductions. In the pension reforms that were proposed in January this year, it's been said that the payment won't be subject to pension. The individual must sign a valid partnership agreement on or after the 1st of April 2020, as this and a copy of the GMS or PMS contract are part of the supplementary evidence, which is required to be submitted when the application is made. The partnership agreement should be updated to reflect the fact that the individual partner should be liable for any clawback if the practice have paid out the payment and the GP then leaves as a GP partner in a partnership altogether prior to the 5 years. So you need to be careful what you put in your partnership agreements. Yeah, as the slide says, there's a slow start to this and there was a delay at the start and we haven't seen many payments actually coming through as yet. Other points to note, you need to let NHS England know of any changes to personal details, such as name changes, addresses, and so on, but you're not required to let NHS England know if you're absent through maternity or paternity leave or for long-term sickness if you're maintaining your partnership role. And the initial payment is paid in a one lump sum payment for the GMS PMS contract holders. And a final thing to note, there's an additional £3,000 funding allowance for business training funds. So this is paid on a reimbursement basis for successful applicants, and it's not prorated for part-time applicants. So everyone is eligible to receive the £3,000 on a reimbursement basis. What's it for? It's used to cover the cost of training courses to help new partners develop non-clinical partnership skills. So it's on a reimbursement basis, so the new partner incurs the training costs and then can claim back the money from NHS England up to the maximum allowance of £3,000. You must maintain the partnership role for a minimum of 1 year, and the training must begin within the first year of commencing that partnership role. The claims for the reimbursement must be submitted within 3 months of making the payment for the training costs.